All right. We are recording. All right. Well, this is SANDCAST, beach volleyball with Bourne and Travis Mewhirter. And just like last week with Zana, all my friends are still gone. Tri is still in Hawaii, although he's doing good things. He's actually at the Outrigger Canoe Club. They have a book club there, and they're putting, like, Volleyball for Milkshakes is the book of the month or whatever. So Tri's giving, like, a little presentation down there. And so that's awesome.
That's super cool.
And then Savvy is hanging out in Florida and New Orleans and doing clinics down there. So solo podcast again. Sorry the celebrities aren't here. Just me today.
No, it's great. It's great.
But how are you, Miss Hailey Harward?
I'm great. I'm having a great day. Excited for the new year.
Yeah.
Really excited just for, whatever the year has planned and the endless possibilities that are there. So I feel like I'm in a very good mood.
Yeah, and I feel like it's easier to be in a good mood coming into this year as opposed to like the last couple, which have just been total shit shows for a while. Mm-hmm. But you have a lot of exciting things going on. I mean, USC, your roster is like the Avengers of college beach volleyball. I was looking at it for a story I was writing on the NCAA expanding its field for the championships to 16, and I was like, they have 6 Court 1s. Not even just 6 Court 1 players. You guys have 6 Court 1 teams.
That's nice. Yeah. I feel like we're the team of like graduate students and then freshmen. Like we have such a huge freshman class and then just so many graduate players. So it's kind of funny.
So it's you're a graduate going for double masters. We just talked about that. Super impressive. And then Julia Scholes, graduate. Tina's not a graduate. She has, 2 more years?
She just started a grad program. Okay. But I think I don't know if she has, technically 1 more year of eligibility or not. Okay. So she's now, a grad. Okay. As well. And, because,
she's pretty old she's, 22, 21?
She's, 5 days older than me.
Okay.
So we're both...
And you're 23?
23, yeah.
Okay.
Approaching 24.
Wow.
I know.
Man, I graduated college, and I had, just turned 21. And I look at some of these rosters, I'm like, it's like everyone's like BYU. Have you ever seen a BYU roster? Because the guys will take 2 years off for their mission. They come back. I'm like, that freshman quarterback's 26.
I know.
He's got 2 kids.
I know. I know. I've heard some negative comments from people being like, oh, get on with your life. But I'm like, you know what? Everyone had a different path here. Yeah. And if it's the opportunity we're given, I'm so grateful to take it. Yeah. So.
And I don't understand. Those comments, they're whatever. I think they're probably from people who are a little bit envious that you still continue to do something that you love and compete at such a high level. Because you're only 23. You get to compete and you get on with the rest of your life for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And you guys are national champs. It's got to be such a cool environment to be around.
It is, yeah. It's really special. And I think it shows even that Tina, an Olympian, is choosing to come back to our program and go to school when she has, she just got signed by Red Bull or whatever. She's doing amazing things. And I think that speaks volumes to the program that she is choosing to come back and play another year with us. So it's just so cool. I think all of my teammates, we all learn so much from each other. And I feel like it's not this kind of dog eat dog type of atmosphere. I really feel like we all are trying our hardest, and at the end of the day it's we all really want to help each other improve, because then we're going to get better if our teammates are getting better. Right. So it's just kind of this you elevate me, I elevate you, and we just keep going. So yeah, it's been so special, and getting another year I was I'll make anything work to stay with this program, and the athletic trainer and the food, and I'm room. I don't want to leave, man. Yeah.
Dain gave me a tour of the facilities. I was like, whoa, this is immaculate. Mm-hmm. You guys are super fortunate with everything you have. Yeah. It's funny because Delaynie's sister, Kelsey, she just transferred from St. Mary's. She's doing her grad year at BYU.
Whoa.
And so it's the first Knudsen who's been at a football school that has a football program, because Delaynie was at PEP and they don't have a football program, and Lindsay was also at St. Mary's. And so Kelsey, we were talking to her on the phone today, she's like, you should see the weight room. We have a nutritionist. They have all these resources, and Delaney's like, you're at a football school, and you get pretty good things.
Wow. Yeah, it's a big difference maker for sure. Because I was at Long Beach State before, no football. They had football back in the day, but not when I was there.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, it's just a different environment. Like, you're more focused on, I loved going to like water polo games and like tennis, and like, it was just so fun to have kind of like a smaller athletics community. But yeah, it's kind of crazy how much revenue football brings in.
Yeah. And it's cool. I like to see how much of an impact it has for the entire school, like for the rest of it, because everyone gets to use those facilities. I know that football probably has their own sort of special privileges and everything, but it's cool that all the teams can benefit from that. And now you guys, USC is just a juggernaut this year.
Yeah, hopefully. It'll be fun, but you never know what can happen.
Yeah.
Everyone's good.
Yeah. I was talking to John Mayer the other day, and he was like, this is probably the most talented LMU team we have, but, you know, I don't know if it's the most talented relative to the rest of the NCAA field, because everyone's getting so good so fast, especially because you have like all the sort of kind of COVID seniors, and then you have the normal seniors, and then you have the influx of new talent, and all the freshmen are starting off on a higher baseline than any before, because now it's like so big in the grassroots level.
Right.
So just getting so good so fast.
Yeah, it is crazy. It's so fun to see the college level rise, and even into like the AVPs over the summer.
Yeah.
Seeing, you know, Megan and Savvy and Tina, and I'm probably going to forget people, but other people that are like my age just excelling, and I'm like, wow, this is like so cool just for the future of the sport to keep growing.
Kristen and Taryn did okay.
Yeah, oh my gosh, how could I forget them? Literally doing the best. But yeah, it's just so exciting to watch for sure.
It is. How was your time at Long Beach? Because you were at Long Beach for a couple of years, and then transferred to SC. How long have you been at SC now? It's kind of weird to calculate with the COVID.
January 2020.
Okay.
So, what, 2 full years?
Yeah, okay.
But in March, so I was only there January through March of 2020, and then I went home to Phoenix once, you know, the season's canceled, school's canceled, you know, all that.
Yeah.
And I was home through the rest of the summer. I think I might have tried to play in like a tournament or two if any were running.
Right.
I think Wapaka might have been the only one that people were at.
Which you won.
Which, yeah, that was fun.
Congrats.
Thank you. That was
a big
fun.
one to win.
Yeah, I'd never been, so it was just a really cool experience. I didn't know that people like camp out there, and then the grass is bigger than the sand.
The sand is like the JV event
It
there.
really is. They're like, all right, move out the sand players. Let's get the grass going. Come on. But then I went back to SC in August. So really, I've only been there for like a year and a half, we'll say. Yeah.
Gotcha. Enjoying your time though?
Oh, yeah. It's been not only just like the SC experience for me, but just like the shared experience with the people I've met. I think that's like the biggest part about wherever you are in life is like if you have amazing people with you, like more often than not, it's going to be a great experience, whether you're winning or losing. And I think, you know, we happened to win last year, but it was close. Like it was kind of like a coin toss a lot of times. So I think that was something huge to remember despite like winning or losing, just going in with that mentality of like, I have sisters for life here. And like, that's just the coolest part. Yeah.
I think one of the things that I love about sort of your SC team is how close you seem to have gotten with so many of your teammates. Like it seems like you, Julia, and Tina are just like best buddies.
Yeah, they're so great. It's so fun for me to just hang around with them, and like I feel like we all became friends so quickly.
Yeah.
Which was really special because then all of our goofiness and ridiculousness just comes out at the start, and you're like, this is who I am. And you're like, okay, me too. Like, we're just going to have a great time from now on. So
it's got to be a fun house to live in. Are you all still roommates?
I'm still roommates with Julia.
Okay.
And we have another roommate, Willa, who is a baller in a PhD program.
That was Julia's friend from North Carolina, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's crazy. The stars aligned, God's providence. They met up here, and then I inserted myself into their living situation because I needed a place to live. So I found the room, and I said, hey, let's all sign. But no, Tina is now living with one of the girls on the indoor team.
Okay.
And it's just me and Julia and Willa.
Okay, got it. Yeah. And you guys, you're on winter break right now. right? Mm-hmm. And then when do you start practicing again?
Tomorrow. Yes.
Oh, big deal.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yes, I'm excited.
What's an SC practice like? I mean, we mentioned all the talent, and we even like missed half the names that are still so good. Mm-hmm. It's got to be a fun atmosphere to be around.
It is really, really fun. I think only one day this past fall at practice, I got like really mad and upset and just kind of like had a ball and just like threw the ball and like whatever. But that is like never how it goes. Like usually all the practices are like I said, like you're working so hard and you're all just like building each other up. And I think it's so fun with like all the drills we do because a lot of it is super like side out focused. Like you obviously have to side out to win. So, but it's so hard to side out against the girls on the other side. Like regardless of who it is, like even our freshmen are so good at like ball control, even if I think most of them are defenders. Okay. But still, it's like the whole team has skill. Yeah. So it doesn't matter what combo is on the other side. Which I think that's the most fun part because this fall, like, we all played kind of with everyone. And I think that's refreshing to just not just play with one person the whole time. And, like, you get different strengths and you learn different things from different people. So, what are SC practices like? I think very fun and very, like, pursuit of excellence in all the drills. Yeah.
I like it. Is it a lot of competition stuff?
We do competitions every Saturday. We usually go to like Rosecrans at the beach and play only like the whole time. Yeah. So that's fun. And then during the week, it's a lot of, like I said, just drills, side out drills, working on specific shots or just decision making in general and all that. Yeah.
Do you guys have a team captain?
We usually have 3.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was going to say, how does Dain pick one?
I know.
It's a lot of good options.
I know. He said there's 3 captains right now. It's Sammy Slater, Julia, and Tina. And then there's 3 junior captains. Okay. Who are Delaynie, Maple, Megan Kraft, and I think Nicole Norse. Okay. Yeah, so I'm not really sure. I think Dain just wanted to give like them a title as well because there are so many leaders on the team. It's like, how do you choose just 3? So
and I think that's a smart system, especially for coaches right now who are going to have to deal with massive turnover coming up. Because I think after this year, you guys are going to graduate a fair amount of your talent. It's good to kind of groom them as junior leaders or what have you because Russell Brock at LSU, last year he was carrying 28 kids on his team. Whoa. Yeah, because they lost 13 this year.
Oh my gosh, I did not know that.
And so they brought back, I think there's 2 starters on LSU. They're 2s and 3s defender, and everyone else is gone. Whoa. And then he had this massive freshman class coming in. He's like, I don't know what I was supposed to do. He's like, we were losing 13. You can't just load up for 1 year and then just say screw it. Yeah. And so like LSU's totally new. There's a lot of teams that are pretty much totally new. I mean, Pepperdine's real young. Yeah. So it'll be fun to watch as always.
It'll be very fun. Yeah. Yeah, I noticed that at a couple fall tournaments this year. I was like, oh, who's that over there? Like, who's this new tall freshman on that team that's like pounding balls? Who's that? It's like, oh yeah, her. She's like 17. I'm like, what? Like, it's like crazy to me, these new players. And just, I think it's so fun. Like me being 23, like everyone I've played in college with is done for the most part. Yeah. Like most of them are out. They're either playing pro or now working a job, adulting. Yeah. And so I really don't know like anyone, really.
That's funny. When did you come into college?
2016.
Okay. So you graduated high school, you were class 2016, and then we're at 2022. Did you think your college career would be this long?
No. I truly thought I was going to do 4 years of indoor and beach at Long Beach and then try to pursue volleyball after. I wasn't sure if it was going to be indoor or beach, but I think I had a foot injury at Long Beach, and then that kind of opened up the door for an extra year of beach somewhere beach only.
Okay.
And I was like, wow, okay, like I've always dedicated half and half.
Yeah.
Like since I was young, I've played both.
Yeah.
And I feel like there's advantages and disadvantages of that, but I never had to decide until I guess someone made the decision for me with the injury. But I'm so grateful for where it's led me, and now I do want to pursue beach. So
love it.
We'll see. We'll see how that goes.
Sometimes it works out pretty well. Yeah. Blessings in disguise.
Yes.
They're everywhere.
Yes, definitely.
If you could do it again, would you go in college half and half, or would you go strictly beach?
That is a great question. I think where I was in life at my decision, I was a junior in high school when I committed to Long Beach.
Okay.
And I always wanted to play both. That was like a huge criteria of mine. But I think it's funny, like at the end I was deciding between UCLA or Long Beach.
Okay.
And now I'm at SC, which I think is kind of funny. But I don't know if I would have chosen one or the other, because back then it was still like a lot of teams were just the same, like indoor team and beach team. Okay. It was just kind of like a lot of the players. They didn't really have
the funding for additional beach scholarships.
Yeah. But if I had to decide now, I would definitely pick like one or the other.
Okay.
Yeah. But I think back then it was kind of more like, you're
pretty much going to do both.
All things, you know, be well-rounded. You can learn things from each, and yeah.
And you grew up in Arizona, Phoenix. That's like a hotbed for volleyball talent right now. Did you grow up playing against Sponsel?
I always like admired her, and I think she is like 2 years older than me, or 1.5. But yeah, I definitely always watched her. We never directly played each other, because like at beach tournaments and stuff, she would be in like the 18s and I would be in 16s. And then like for indoor, same thing. But I would always watch her, and she's like a stud beast, like amazing. Yeah. Amazing person too, because I just saw her when I was home. We like trained a little bit, got some reps.
Is she in Arizona right now too?
I don't know if she's still there or if she's back here now.
Okay.
But we were both there for Christmas.
Okay.
And so yeah, I always watched her growing up, and I was like in awe.
Yeah. Yeah. What's the beach scene like in Phoenix? I'm sure it's growing, because, I mean, I feel like Betsy was kind of the first to make a big splash on the beach coming out of Phoenix. I could be wrong. I mean, it could be someone else, but it was like Betsy and then Sponsel and you. It was like back to back to back, like three pretty big time
That's
players.
Nice of you to include me. I have not made it. But, Betsy actually played at my high school, too. Okay. So, and she did private lessons with one of my best friends, Rachel. Okay. So I feel like, my mom and Betsy's mom know each other, and they talk. And so it's, the Phoenix volleyball is like, I feel like everyone kind of knows everyone.
Okay. Yeah. But you grew up playing both?
I did. I had a beach, they're more like dirt courts. Yeah. But, Arizona beach courts. Right. Basically in my backyard, because we have a park right behind my house. And so when I started indoor, I was like 9. And then I started playing beach when I was like 12. Okay. So from then on, it was kind of like, I can't decide. Yeah. For club, I'm doing 2 days a week of indoor club and then 2 days a week of beach club. And on weekends, I'm not playing indoor. I'm trying to go to California and get my feet in the deep sand as much as I could. So I think I'm just used to the like switch back and forth.
Yeah. That's super cool. So you loved volleyball though. It seems like from the get-go.
Yeah, definitely. Like always wanted to be in the gym, always wanted to, it was like a love-hate thing, because a lot of the times it would be my childlike, I just want to like go for everything and like try to hit the ball as hard as I can, and like just like that kind of love of it. But then as I got older, it was more of this like pursuit of perfection. And then I would do like a bunch of privates, and if I wasn't doing everything perfectly, I would just get like such a short fuse with myself and get so mad. But I was always trying to like be in the gym. Yeah. So whether it was like the good days where it was like fun, loving, happy-go-lucky, or if it was like,
You seem to have the fun, loving, happy-go-lucky thing. I loved practicing with you.
Oh my gosh, that was so fun.
You're like one of my favorite, you're like my favorite type of player to play with.
What?
Who, like, when I'm a blocker and someone hits a line shot over me, I'm like, hell, that's going down. Oh, shit, I go set the ball. Like, how'd you take that?
That's so nice. Yeah. I don't know. I just love going for stuff, and I think it's fun. Defense is my favorite.
Yeah.
By far.
Did you block ever? Well, I'm sure you probably blocked growing up.
Yeah.
But
I did block.
in college? Because I've just only ever seen you play defense.
Never in college, no, but for, youth tournaments,
Okay.
I would block sometimes. And then when I played indoor, I played outside for like my whole career, basically.
Okay,
So
that's right. I always forget, just because I never played indoor, I always forget that indoor players, like, all of them have to block.
Yeah.
Pretty much, unless you're a libero. Like, if you're a 6-rotation player. And I know you were a 6-rotation player at Long Beach, right?
It's actually weird. I feel like I split my time between libero and outside.
Okay.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so you obviously knew how to block.
I can throw my arms up and sometimes be in the right spot. Like, I think I know what I'm doing, and then I get out on the beach and try to block, and I'm like, oops, sorry, like, wasn't in the right area, my bad. Yeah, blocking is tough.
Well, you're a very good defender.
Thank you.
Very fun to watch.
Thanks. That's so nice. That's so encouraging going into the season.
Are you finding more of the joy than the,
Well, it's funny you ask, because these last few practices, after kind of taking some of December off, I think I came in with more expectation than I should have.
Yeah.
And, mistakes, I'd be like, this is 6th grade volleyball. What are you doing? And just kind of like verbally kind of attacking myself. And other days I can joke about it. Like, I can be like, oh, wow, that wasn't very good. Like, all right, whatever. Like, moving on to the next one.
Yeah.
But this week recently I've been kind of like beating up on myself, but reflected on that.
Yeah.
And that is not how I want to be on the court. And so
Yeah.
I think it's important to have like really positive self-talk, and like, we do this every day. So it's something that you want to come and do and not be like a burden or feel like you don't like yourself if you're not doing well.
Right.
Like, no way. Like, this is such a gift to have ability to play and to be at the beach. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So I think now, after this week of kind of feeling down, I feel like so refreshed to come back with like just pure joy, fun, just work your hardest and bring your best attitude. And at the end of the day, that you just leave it all on the court.
Yeah. And it just, like, when you get really frustrated with yourself, because, like, I'll get super frustrated sometimes, too, and it's just, like, I'm never better when I punt balls and yell and scream. I'm always way better when I'm just, like, laughing. I'll shank a pass and be like, oh, it was great job.
Yeah, good serve by you. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's one thing that I learned. I grew up playing golf my whole life, and you're never better when you snap your 4-iron over your leg.
Have you done that?
Oh yeah.
You've broken clubs?
Yeah, my dad, he listens to this, so he'll get a good kick out of remembering this story. But we were playing at this course by my house, and I shanked a chip and just chucked my wedge, and it got stuck in the tree, like top of a gigantic tree. And my dad, he was like down this hill, so he didn't see it. I was like, oh shit, I could get the club before my dad sees. So I'm throwing a ball to try to hit the club to get it, because it was literally stuck up there. So my dad sees the club, and we were on like the 13th hole, which is the farthest, absolute farthest from the clubhouse. And he was like, when you're done, just walk home. Just grab your clubs and walk home.
No way.
So from there on out, I was like, I don't think throwing my wedge is a great idea.
Yeah. In the moment, it seems like the only logical thing to do.
Yeah.
You're like so mad. But then after, you're like, oh, shoot, I really did that.
Yeah. Just feels so great to throw. And then as soon as it's out of your hand, you're like, oh, come back.
Yeah. I wish I was good at golf.
I play like once a year now.
Okay.
Because golf is so frustrating. Mm-hmm. And I used to get so mad, because like the ball's not moving.
Exactly.
The defense isn't moving. The hole is staying there.
Yeah.
And it's just so frustrating. But you never get any better. And I think golf is like one of the ultimate like teachers, and like it just keeps you really humble, because it's so hard to be good at. And that's helped me with all sports. It's just like, you can't get frustrated. It's not going to help.
Mm-hmm. Easier said than done.
Much easier said than done.
Yeah.
Do you guys have like sports psych at USC?
Yeah.
That's got to be pretty cool.
Yeah, this past year, starting in the fall, I took advantage of that resource, and I've been meeting with somebody every 2 weeks, and I just met with him what's today? Thursday? I just met with him yesterday.
Yeah.
So I feel like that was like a super helpful resource for me to just be like, you know what? I really didn't have a good week this week. And how can we move forward? And like, how can I be like the teammate I want to be? And how, because we were talking about goals. And speaking of like the new year, everyone has resolutions and goals. Mm-hmm. And he was saying, well, why are all of your goals so performance-based? Because, my goals are like, I want to get whatever it is, like however many aces per match and however many dig conversions per set. And he's like, well, what about like how your attitude or like how you want to be remembered by your teammates? What are those type of goals that you can think about and then intentionally bring with you every day to practice and maybe like reflect on? I was like, whoa, okay, you got some wisdom. Okay. Like that's true, because he's like, how often can you control like if you want to get more than 25 season wins?
Right. I'm
like, well, I think I could control that.
Yeah.
He's like, well, I don't know, just have more process-oriented goals.
Yeah. So what are the new process-oriented goals? Or are you still kind of reflecting?
They're still under revision, but I definitely think just being a teammate who is very communicative, because for me, I've noticed if I'm doing poorly myself, I tend to internalize and I'm thinking about, how can I do things better? And then I'm not talking.
Yeah.
So that just works for me, just to be very vocal with my teammate and just always, be positive. Don't let anything rattle me, which is, again, easier said than done. But I think just like being aware of those things more than can I hit, these certain 30 balls in a row,
Yeah.
Which I want to do as well.
Right.
But I think having the focus beyond the process, we've all heard this, more than the outcome.
I think that's where, the process is really where we get a lot of our fulfillment from. Mm-hmm. Talking to Zana the other day, she was saying that she was able to go and enjoy 6 weeks in Poland with Micah and be totally satisfied taking that time off because she knew that she had put in 100% of what she could have possibly put in. And she got good results because of it, but she walked away knowing, I'm proud of the work I put in. I can relax, and now I can go back knowing that that's actually what makes me proud over a third in Chicago and a third in Atlanta. That it's the fact that I went 5-6 days a week, I trained, I did what I needed to do to stay balanced. And so it's once you realize that the process goals are so much more fulfilling and attainable, it's much easier to look at them instead of, because they have kind of a weird rap, like it's, trust the process. Mm-hmm. It's such a cliche.
Yeah.
So it just has this weird stigma around it. But once you buy into it, you're like, that makes sense.
Yeah. Just trust. Just trust the process. Easy as that.
Yeah. Do you mentioned that you wanted to kind of do professional volleyball afterwards. Mm-hmm. Now that you've gotten I feel like you're sort of leading the NCAA and kind of how to market yourself. Because we have this, how do you pronounce Aqua Hydrate?
Yeah, give them the plug.
And best water I've ever had.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Yeah.
But you're one of the first I heard to sign an NIL deal with Raising Cane's.
Yes.
How did that come about?
So I'm a huge Cane's fan. Like, I think anyone who I talk to, I either bring up like Cane's or Aqua Hydrate.
Okay.
Or like Jesus. So those are my three like big brands.
Cane's water and Jesus. I love it.
So I don't know. I just things that I love. Like it's so easy for me to share that with others.
Yeah.
So I just called up Cane's and said, hey, I've been a Caniac for years.
Yeah.
I now through NIL changes, I'm playing in this tournament, in this Manhattan AVP tournament. Like I'd love to wear your logo.
Yeah.
And post about it, So that's how it went down.
That's
Sadly,
awesome.
It was just a one-time thing, though.
Yeah. Very cool, though.
Yeah, I'm stoked. It was so funny. When I was playing against Zana and Savvy, actually, someone in the crowd was like, oh, Chick-fil-A, Chick-fil-A. And I thought it was the funniest thing ever. I think I had to recompose myself before I served because I was like, that was hilarious.
That is funny.
Yeah.
So, how did you you mentioned you just called up Canes, but it's not like you just like found a number on their website and called them. I'm sure. I mean, you seem to do a pretty good job of marketing yourself.
Thanks. I have a team with me as well.
Cool.
Hawker Family Sports and Entertainment.
Okay.
And I met Tay, who's kind of like my brand like consultant.
Okay.
Just through a trusted friend. So I was like, okay, like he's starting an NIL company. Like I'm down. It's new. Everything's new. We can see what happens.
Yeah.
And so it's really nice to have them just in my corner for any questions I have. Like, hey, like, is this allowed?
Yeah.
Or is this allowed, instead of bugging my compliance officer all the time?
Yeah.
But yeah, I just looked up Raising Cane's like marketing people.
Yeah.
And just sent emails.
I love it.
And yeah, it ended up working out with like the regional marketing leader in SoCal.
That's super cool.
Yeah.
When I saw it, I was like, the first beach volleyball player sponsored by Raising Cane's. It's hilarious.
I know. Julia was like, it's kind of like false advertising because you're fit and their food isn't the healthiest.
But it's just so good.
It's so good.
Oh my gosh.
If you haven't gone, check out Raising Cane's and try Aqua Hydrate.
I used to get it. Do you ever meet Skylar McCoy?
No.
He went to Long Beach for a little while. I think he probably graduated a little bit before. But we played together for like a year. And after every CBVA or AVP Next, we'd hit up Raising Cane's.
Oh, I like him already.
And we just crushed it. Because I lived like walking distance from one. Oh. And on Friday nights, it was like the high school spot to be, apparently. Because the drive-through line would go like back onto the highway.
Oh, yeah. I've waited... Shamefully, I've waited over an hour in the drive-through line.
I believe it.
For Cane's. Like, I didn't leave. I was like, nope, I've waited here. I'm getting this meal. I deserve it.
So I'm assuming it's big in Arizona?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, the closest one from my house was, like, near ASU, so it was, like, 25, 30-minute drive.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you ever consider going to an Arizona school?
I visited both ASU and U of A.
Okay.
But I think I wanted to kind of move out of the heat, especially.
Yeah, no kidding.
And I think Long Beach was far enough away, and it's where my mom went to school, actually. So she has a lot of her college friends live in Orange County, and it just seemed like the right fit at the time. And yeah, I think getting out of Arizona was a really great move.
Yeah.
Just to meet new people and kind of get new experiences, get a little more out of my comfort zone, go to a place where no one knows who I am, and all that stuff.
Was there any culture shock? Because California is different. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, like driving on the freeways, I think I'm used to it now, but at first I was like, this is so scary. Like people are just zipping past me like so quickly on both sides. And I think the culture too was more fast paced than I was used to. And I'm from like a little suburb, like it's called Ahwatukee in Phoenix. And I would not drive farther than like 25 minutes, like for anything.
Yeah.
Like everything I needed was in this little tiny like bubble of shelter.
Yeah.
And so yeah, coming out here and in Long Beach especially, like I could go to Anaheim, I could go South Bay, I could go Newport. Like it was just like, whoa, there's so much to do. And like everyone's moving at 100 miles an hour.
Yeah. And Long Beach is in like the center of everything, but it's close to nothing.
Right.
So you're always driving at least like half hour, 45 minutes to do whatever it is you want to do.
Exactly. Yeah.
But you seem to have adjusted pretty well. Do you like California, or are there a lot of parts of home that you miss?
I like California, I think, for the time of my life that I'm in now.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I could see myself living here with a family per se.
Yeah.
Because I think I enjoyed growing up where I did, kind of removed, but just close enough to where it's like, oh, we can go to California for the weekend, like woohoo, like get in the car and go. And like seeing the beach for me growing up was just like, whoa, like this is so incredible.
Yep.
And I think, it's like not something everyone sees all the time. So just that appreciation for sure I want to instill in my future kids. Like you won't see this all the time.
That's how
enjoy
I am
it.
Because growing up in just like this little farm town in Maryland, now when I wake up and we live 2 blocks off the beach, we're actually just like 12 blocks down that way, like straight from Tri's house. And I'm like, this is crazy that this is what I get to see every morning.
It's
amazing.
Yeah.
But as a state, California, it's just so expensive.
Oh, yeah.
It's hard to maintain it, but if you can, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Do you ski or snowboard?
I have skied.
Okay.
Never snowboard.
You'd strike me as someone who'd be like pretty good at it.
Really? Yeah. I mean, I've never surfed either. My brother is a big surfer, but I've never surfed, never snowboarded, never skateboarded.
Really?
I think I'd probably eat it if I tried.
I'd rather snowboard than skateboard because snow is softer.
Really?
Than pavement.
I feel like I've heard people breaking ribs on the snowboard and...
You definitely can.
Head and all that.
I ski though, but that's one of the things I love about California is that like you can drive 2 hours and you'll get 12 feet of snow.
Yeah.
And then you can walk 20 minutes and you can surf.
Yeah, last New Year's, me, Julia, and Tina did a hike up where there was snow. We were like throwing snow at each other.
Yeah.
And then the same day, we drove to the beach and played in our bikinis.
Yeah.
We're like, what? How?
It's incredible.
How is this real?
Yeah. The surf snowboard in the single day is just mind-boggling to me.
It's crazy.
Yeah. But now that you've gotten kind of a glimpse, like you've played some AVPs. Mm-hmm. You and Catherine Plummer got a 9th in Hermosa. Is that career high, right?
Yeah.
So you've gotten a glimpse of the professional life a little bit. And I feel like you're probably pretty well prepared for it just because like of how mature you are and you've seen it. Mm-hmm. But I feel like a lot of people come in and they're like, oh yeah, if I make one main draw, I'll be set, I can make it, but it's tough. So what's kind of the mindset of someone who you're going to kind of leave the college sanctuary in a couple months and then go pro? Are you lining up like part-time jobs? Like, I don't really know what it looks like for a college senior.
This is a great question because this is what I've been, thinking about for the last month and a half, 2 months. I think right after the Manhattan AVP, I was just really down in the dumps. We went 0-2. We were done.
Two good matches, though. You played 2 tough matches.
Yes. They both went 3 at, lost at the freeze and however many extra points. But, I was pretty bummed after that tournament just for a variety of reasons. But I was just kind of like, I don't know if I'm really good enough to do this. And, just all the demons telling you, like, you're not good enough and just all that stuff. And I was like, wow, I got to think about what I want to do because my whole life I've been a volleyball player. And I think I really hit this kind of like low point. And then from there, I was just like, oh, what do I do? And kind of talking with my parents about it and praying about it. And I really felt after that, kind of like a week and a half, 2 weeks later, I just felt so like at peace and just so like ready to give it all I have instead of this kind of fear like, oh, I don't know if I try and then fail, that'll crush me. I think that was kind of my mentality going into Manhattan and after Manhattan AVP. But now I've since had this kind of refreshed view of it and just like, it is a blessing. Like, you don't have to do this. You don't have to play beach volleyball. Yeah. You can go do whatever you want to do. But I think that reignited my flame of like, I want to try my hardest, and if I fail, who cares? Yeah. I'm going to run around, go crazy, try to be a good teammate, and this doesn't have to be my only living. Like, I can try to find a part-time job. I got to start doing applications now. But yeah, I think there was that point, and I got some advice like from Sarah Sponsel, and like I think just having people ahead of you, like kind of chatting them up and being like, how do you do this lifestyle? Yeah. Like, it really seems like a very draining type of thing, partnerships they're like breakups.
Oh my gosh.
And like, how do you find the right partner and the right coach and the right training times? And I think all of that was just overwhelming me, the unknowns of leaving the college life and entering this pro do-it-yourself type of career. Yeah. But I think knowing you are capable, like knowing you have what it takes, like I'm definitely not at my peak right now, but I think that belief in yourself of like, I know where I can get. And then also knowing like you have people supporting you. Like I have my coaches now, Dain and Gustavo, they want the best for me. They want to prepare me for the pros. And I have, hopefully, coaches in the future, once I'm done at SC, that can help me. So it's not like all on you.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's kind of how I felt. I don't know if other college players have felt the same way, just this overwhelming, like, what do I do? Who do I ask to play with me? And, and I just kind of feel like God will provide. I will work my hardest, but I also trust that whatever plan he has in store for me is going to be great.
Yeah.
So I think that's where the peace came from of like, okay, I can attack this with all I've got and know I gave it my all and that's that.
And that's that.
Yeah.
That's a process goal right there.
Yeah, boom. Growth, process goal. Yeah.
It's fun to see because Savvy, when she started kind of co-hosting SANDCAST, she was having the same like sort of semi-existential crisis.
Yes.
Like, oh my God, like what do I do? I want to move to the South Bay, but it's so far and it's so expensive, but driving from San Diego is impossible. And she was like kind of freaking out. And me and Tri both said, just make yourself as available as possible. And trust me, like you're good enough, you'll get into practice groups and soon enough, like you'll have more requests to practice than you know what to do with. And then now I always smile when I see Savvy practicing with like, in April or like Clays and Sponsel. I'm like, there we go, Sav.
Yes.
I love it.
Yeah.
But you're in that same boat. I feel like a lot of younger players coming out, even though you guys are so good, you've already proven you can take a top 10 on an AVP. You can win a Wapaka. But you're still like kind of shy about asking people to practice and play. I'm like, oh, just ask people.
Yeah.
Guarantee you'll get a lot of yeses.
Yeah, I think that's the thing is like, oh, I don't know, like if this person is available or whatnot. Like, yeah, just ask and be available. Like, I think one time it was so random, but it was Sarah Pavin needed someone to practice. Cool. And I was like, oh my gosh. Anytime and any place, and I woke up at like 5 a.m. to get to the beach on time and like just practice. And I was like, I don't even care if I don't get sleep. Like, if anyone asks, like, I want to be able to play. So I think that's really important to kind of not be selective.
Yeah.
Entering your career and just like try everything. I feel like.
How was it practicing with Pav?
Oh my gosh. I was like, I better run for everything. Like, she's a freaking Olympian and like just amazing. And I was like, I better just try my hardest. I think I'm like such a people pleaser. Yeah. And that's something that has exposed itself through beach volleyball with just 2 of you. Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's like if you're focused on how bad you're setting, or if you're like, oh, like I feel so bad, like I'm not getting you any good sets, then what? Like, it gets worse. Yep. So, I was just trying to make like the practice as good for, these pros. Yeah. That was my whole focus. I was like, I just want to do good enough so that they have a productive time. Yeah.
It's so funny. Yeah. That's like exactly how Tim Brewster is.
Oh, I love him.
You can't not love Tim Brewster. It's impossible. Yeah. But he's so funny. Like, we'll be practicing and I'll set one. I could set him 20 feet off the net and outside the pin. And he'd hit an error or something, and he'd be like, gosh, Tim. Like, Tim, I said, like, no one could hit that set. Like, Phil Dahlhauser hit that under the net. He's like, no, like, I could do this better. And he, like, yelled at himself for setting bad. And I'm like, Tim, when I give you a bad set, you can let me know. It's okay. Like, say, that maybe would have helped if you put me in the right zip code. In the right zip code. Well, that's true. Yeah, honesty is better than, like, oh, no, it's fine, it's fine. Yeah. It's like, no, tell me where you want it. You know? It's not like you have to yell at them. Yeah. Like, I need it here. It's like, hey, like it'd help if it was like a foot more inside or something. The relationship part of it is so crazy to me. It is. It's so crazy. Because you could have 2 amazing players and maybe they just like don't vibe. Yeah. And it's like, what? Like, you guys should be like number 1 in the world. Yeah. I don't know. It's on paper partnerships. You're like, that makes total sense. And sometimes it doesn't happen. And then you look at like, a Try and a Trevor, which when they started playing together, on paper, couldn't have made any less sense at all. They're both blockers, and they both played the same side, and now they're the number 1 team in the United States. Yeah. Wow. Because with Phil retiring and Jake retiring, they'll be the only men's team in the Elite 16s. Wow. Yeah. I was like, who could have predicted that? Seriously. And they started playing sort of as a joke. Like, Tri had been out for 2 years with autoimmune disease, and Trevor had been playing with Mayer, and, they hadn't gotten the finishes that they really wanted. And And Trev was like, Trev, we could play one. And Trev was like, yeah, all right, why not?
Wow, and then they just stuck it out.
Yeah, and here we are.
Wow.
The number one team.
So cool.
Yeah. But you don't have to worry about the partnerships for a while. How is it decided at USC? Like, do you submit like a dream list of partners and then like the coaches kind of navigate it from there?
For me, any partner they put me with, like you can't go wrong with the lineup. Yeah. So I think Dain has like meetings with everybody, and during my meeting, he asked me. Yeah. He said, "Who are your top 2 like people you'd like to play with?" And so I say, and then I don't know how much of it he takes into account because it was still preseason. Yeah. But I think he just tries out different things and sees what works. I think it was interesting last season with splitting up Megan and Delaynie. Yeah. Because then he put Megan with Tina and had that kind of freshman and then a leader. Yeah. And then put Delaynie with Joy. Yeah. Who was a senior captain. And I think me and Julia were just talking about this, how that kind of helps the freshmen like grow just so much quicker. Yeah. Because you're not just throwing 2 freshmen together into the pool and they're both trying to figure it out. So I don't know if he'll mix things up or how it's going to go this year.
And did he ever try to split up the Norses, or is that always a package deal?
They're pretty much a package deal.
Okay.
Yeah.
I always wonder how it is with twins. There's so many twins in college beach volleyball. Like there were the Van Gunts at Georgia State, the Witt twins were at Arizona, the Max at UCLA, and they've all always played together. And you guys had the Norses. It's like, I don't know if you're even allowed to split up twins.
I know. I think maybe like sometimes for a practice or something, but usually no. Yeah. Because they just know each other so well. It's like they don't even have to say anything and they're running like plays. I'm like, what is happening right now?
And they are always practicing.
Oh, yeah.
When me and Tim were working with Jose, the Norses were always either like before or after us. And then every time I walk past 8th Street, they're out there with Pompilio. I'm like, you guys are crazy.
Yeah, they are so fun to have as teammates because I can talk with them about like anything we see or like anything like even internally, like mentally, if we're going through anything, because they're just so into volleyball and like they're so good. And it's just like very fun to like challenge them and like bounce ideas off of each other.
Yeah. Can you tell them apart?
Oh yeah.
I'm glad that one of them's lefty. It's like, that's a rule with twins. Like the McNamara's are the same way. I'm like, all right, Nicole, Megan, got it.
Yeah. Yeah, I can tell them apart pretty easily.
Okay.
Except the other day in the training room, like one of them was like 30 feet with their back turned, and I like guessed wrong. Yeah. But if I'm right next to them, yeah.
Because I remember when me and Tri had the McNamara's on the podcast, they walked in and I was like, you don't have numbers and neither of you are hitting. So I was like, Tri, you got to introduce yourself so we know who's who. And then, but then like, I didn't see like how they sat down.
Oh no.
And I was like, oh man, so when I was doing the podcast, I was waiting for cues and it was like 10 minutes in. I was like, got it. Megan and Nicole.
Yeah. Then you're like, okay, don't switch seats.
Yeah. It's funny, the Witt twins though, because one of them was hurt in an NVL and they didn't want the other team to know who was who. So they both did the exact same like tape job over their shoulders and they were switching sides and everything and split and like no one could tell.
I have done that. Well, I don't have a twin, but at the national championship, my partner Hailey, so both of us.
Hallgren?
Yes, both of us named Hailey. We don't look alike, but she kind of had like a little shoulder, like twinge happen. So they taped her shoulder, and she's like, oh, we should tape your shoulder too so it doesn't look like I'm hurt or something. Yeah. So we're like, all right, go ahead. So we taped my shoulder, and we kind of thought that was pretty funny.
I love some gamesmanship.
Yeah.
How's Hailey doing, by the way?
She is doing good. She had some lung tumor.
I saw that because she was at Michigan for her grad year indoor.
Yeah.
And then she had it was a huge like tumor in her lung, wasn't it?
Yeah. So she just had surgery yesterday.
Oh wow.
And it went well.
Okay.
Thankfully.
Good.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So she is on the recovery.
Okay.
But yeah, playing with her at the end was a joy. Even though we were not the most consistent pair.
You got your start at the right time, though. You got, because your first win in Gulf Shores was like, that was it. That sealed it. That's not a bad one.
Yeah, it was. I don't know if anyone like followed the specific pairs for the national championship, but me and Hailey at the threes, the final game was the only game we had won. And going through that whole week, I was so down because I was like, my people pleasing. I was like, dang, like, I don't feel reliable for the team. Like, I just feel so bad because, like, losing in a AVP, it's like, yeah, you're bummed, but you just lose for you and your partner and, like, your coach. But with the team that big in college, like, just losing, you're like, oh, my gosh, it's so much worse. I'm losing for the whole team. And so I was kind of, like, dealing with that the whole time. And people could tell, I couldn't really hide it, that I was just, like, so down and, like, I'm sorry, guys. And Gustavo actually told me, you know, only the last game matters, or he kept like kind of like chirping at me like that. And then it ended up where like the last game we just like flipped a switch and we had like the cleanest game we had together.
That's awesome.
And that was so fun because I love Hailey as a person and that was her last beach game.
Yeah.
So that was like
good way to go out.
So nice, Just the relationship wise.
Yeah, so and that had to have been just so fun, like just to win. I mean, that had to have been a pretty surreal moment for you because that had been a long time coming. You went, you know, grew up in Arizona, started at Long Beach, and the national championship at SC. That was probably a pretty fun time.
It was, oh my gosh, it was so fun. And like hugging my parents afterwards because like my mom, like she listens to all of these as well. And
I love it. I chat like kind of with your mom either through Instagram or Facebook or whatever. She's great.
She's like, you better prepare for this. You better like go back and rewatch all of them. Like, she's like the biggest volleyball fan, and so she was obviously there. And it was Mother's Day on the day of the Natty, and I think just all the emotions pouring out of just kind of like, oh, we did it, like. We were kind of like, I feel like we had this target on our back, but then going into it, UCLA had just beat us at Pac-12s. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of good that they beat us then and we got this taste of like, you know, losing and going into it, I feel like it kind of took some pressure off. Yeah. And then,
And you learn so much when you lose. There's like an art to losing at the right time. Because when Anders and Christian went on this big slump, like right before the Olympics. They got like a 25th, a 9th, and like a 5th, which for them is just a tragic stretch. And for me, I'd be like, it's career right there, made it. But and then they win gold in Tokyo because like once they started losing, everyone was trying the same thing. Like pretty much, it was like the whole world had just gotten on a group chat and was like, hey, we're all serving Anders now. And so they all served Anders, and it took them a couple tournaments to adjust. But then they adjusted perfectly, timed it with the Olympics. Yeah. And it's like you lost to UCLA for Pac-12s, but I feel like that probably gave you the perfect time to make whatever adjustments you had to make, clean it up, or take a little pressure off. Mm-hmm. It's like sometimes losing at the right time is great.
I've had so many times where like I'll beat a team in pool play and then in bracket like lose, or like vice versa.
Oh, I hate it.
What? We just played 2 hours ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Both of my first two Norsecas played. My first one I played this Puerto Rican team that was the top seed. We beat them in pool, lost them in the finals. And then second one, we were in La Paz, Mexico, which if you have the opportunity to play that Norseca, absolutely take it. Okay. It's amazing. The whole town shuts down for that. The bleachers, you're getting like 3,000-4,000 people in the stands. And you're signing autographs and pictures for like 20, 30 minutes. There's opening ceremonies, like it's a legit event.
Whoa.
Yeah, but we beat Mexico, like home crowd, like in front of the lights, like 10 p.m. and everyone is just like wasted. Like crowd is fantastic. We beat them in like a really fun match, and then we lose to them in the finals. It's like, not again.
Dang.
And then almost did the same thing in Bonaire because we played Mexico's new #1 team, and we beat them in pool. And then if we had won our semifinal, we would have played them in the finals. Wow. I was like, but I hate losing or beating a team in pool. You just beat them too early.
Mm-hmm. I know. It's like, dang, we had the perfect strategy for the first time.
Yeah. Well, what do you think about the NCAA expanding to 16?
I think it's great.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it only makes sense with how many programs are adding beach.
Yeah.
Like that the number of opportunities should increase for the tournament. Because I had some friends at the indoor national tournament say like, oh yeah, you guys are like, you get to the tournament and you're Elite Eight.
Yeah.
Like we have to go through so many more rounds and like they're like, oh, it's like more special for us to win. I was like, yeah, whatever.
I mean, they're give and take though, because then the beach regular season is just that much more important. I mean, you lose a couple times and you're like, oh crap. But an indoor, with 64 teams, you can have a pretty mediocre regular season and still make it. So there's a little bit of both, but I see what they're saying.
Yeah.
It's just starting the Elite Eight.
Yeah. I'm not sure how it'll go, though. I haven't read all the specifics on, like, if they're going to add another weekend or if they're going to, I think.
So I know this upcoming 2022, they only added one additional day.
Oh.
So the first day of competition will be Wednesday. And then you'll have Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And so I think the format that they've pitched is the first round single elim.
Okay.
And then once you get to those 8 teams, it's double elim from there, which is pretty crazy. Because, as we've seen, pretty much anybody can get hot in a match and beat anybody. Single elim is going to be pretty gnarly in that first round.
Oh my gosh, I can sense the upsets already. Yeah. Wow.
Were you on the SC team that lost to Stetson?
No.
Okay. You knew where I was going.
I knew. Yeah, no. I was not there yet.
Okay.
No.
Got it. But it's been so fun to see how big college has gotten. I'm sure it's probably been fun for you to see just from when you were getting recruited to where it is now. It's like triple the size from when you were a high school player.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's really cool to see. And just the expansion to the East Coast and Midwest and all that.
Yeah.
Let's get beach volleyball everywhere,
Yeah. And now, because I think with the new format, I think they're doing the 6 automatic qualifiers from conference champions. So a couple more East Coast teams will make it in that we probably haven't really seen. Like the ASUN, I think would be kind of North Florida. Is that their conference?
Maybe.
I don't know. But yeah, we'll see a couple teams that most people haven't really heard much about. Mm-hmm. Like UAB will probably get in there at some point soon. And they're always decent. But just, it was hard to crack that top 8.
Yeah, I feel like it's been a lot of the same teams, just year after year.
Yeah. Well, now that we're heading into 2022, I won't keep you here much longer. But what are the big kind of process goals either for college or for pro, or are you kind of taking this really micro steps at a time?
I mean, I'd like to be as much in the moment as possible.
Love it.
But it is good to plan. So I think for the college season, I want to go into it with no expectations, which is super tough.
Yeah.
But I think, like I said, that relieves so much pressure from me because I could have all these expectations of you're 23 years old. You're playing against 18-year-olds.
Yeah.
You should be winning every time. Or X, Y, Z, should. Right. I want to get rid of all those and just play for the love of the game and just spread joy and all of that. So I think that is my college season process goal, is to just eliminate expectations. And then going into the pros, I did have a goal of qualifying for 75% of tournaments. I wanted to say 100, but I didn't know, it's qualifying's tough.
That's always a tough one, because when you set it as 100, if you don't qualify for your first, you're like, oh, well, I'm done.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, well, no recovering here. So I did write that down.
Okay.
I don't have a partner yet, but I have a feeling something will line up. I'll do my reaching out. So I'm not too concerned there, because we're pretty in shape by the end of the college season.
Yeah, and you guys come out, I'm like, I don't envy the women's qualifiers. Jeez Louise, you guys will be because you don't have a ton of AVP points, although you probably have a couple from winning Wapaka and
500.
stuff.
500. I don't know if that's a lot or a little.
You see some of these college teams, you're like, that 68 seeded team is in reality maybe the 6th best team in this qualifier, and they're just about to wreck people's days.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It is.
But so that was kind of my goal there, and then the FIVBs. Oh my gosh, I have 0 points. I don't know. I need to do my research on the whole new system, but that is just kind of up in the air for me.
I mean, only advice I could give there that you'll hear from everybody is when the NORCECAs come back, which hopefully they do, you just got to sign up for all those. And if international is a priority, the best ones to do are NORCECA that conflicts with an AVP. Because you won't even have to go, most of the time you won't even have to go through the qualifier, because nobody in their right mind would skip an AVP for NORCECA unless it's someone who wants to get started.
Right.
And they're like super top heavy fields. So you're almost guaranteed a berth into the semifinals. Because you'll play teams that just straight up, like, you could win. I've seen teams win 21-0. It's bad.
Whoa.
But then, like, once you get to the semis, you'll play, like, a Mexico, a Cuba, Puerto Rico, Canada, and then you'll start playing teams. But NORCECAs are your fast track, for sure.
Very cool. Let's hope no one else listens to this. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
Yeah. Well, I love your message about finding joy, spreading joy. What's been, like, the biggest things that have helped you kind of stay in that joyful frame of mind?
I mean, prayer and just reading the word. And I think having, like, a cause for your joy, because it's one thing to just have this kind of blind optimism, which I feel like can fade. If your circumstances keep punching you, you know, that's tough on anyone. But I think if you have this kind of source of joy and love and light in your life, which is what I found in this last year, I think that just takes precedent, like, over everything else. And it's just like, this is really what's important in life. And, like, I want to share this with others, and, like, just kind of, it puts things into perspective. Like, I think it took pressure off of me as the volleyball player and put more emphasis on, like, who does Christ say I am, and like, how do I want to live my life? So I think that is really important for anyone listening.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the source there.
Yeah, I love it. Love your mindset. Love your style. Love the way you play, and looking forward to watching you this year.
Thanks, Travis.
Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
And thanks for the water.
Oh,
Appreciate
of course.
Super smooth.
Yes, the smoothest.
Good luck this season, Hailey.
Thank you.